So this is a very, very basic overview of what I would imagine the international section of the website would look like. I like the idea of having headlines be front and center, this section right here. You would have to assign someone the task of collecting RSS feeds from all the resources that you wanted to use, like the World section of Guardian UK, the World section of the LA Times, whatever you wanted to pull information from. And that at the end of each month, you would take each issue that was important for that month and sort of write an overview that explains everything that happened within that month. Just sort of comprehensive to make the information digestible to whoever's reading it, and then sort of give the best links that explain, what's going on and where you got your information from. And you could even archive down at the bottom from previous months, so if they kind of want to track the development of a story, the students can click on those and go back into the archives. Then at the bottom, I thought maybe you could have a spotlight section, and the spotlight could be anything. I put Putin on here because he's a big deal at the moment. Just sort of give a brief history of him. I put a link down at the bottom, since I have a world leaders section in the sidebar here. You can click on that and go and sort of explore the world and explore world leaders from each country. All right, and in the sidebar, so the first section on the sidebar is maps. I thought you could have regional maps for the noobs, people who really don't know what's going on. They can go and they can check it out and sort of get an idea of where everything is situated and then hone in from there. Would also be nice to get people familiar with bodies of water. I know I could probably use some some training or some testing because I couldn't place them on a map right now. And then country maps, you could even get so specific as to have extra information like the main languages that are spoken, the religions that are practiced there, and then link to any recent articles that have been posted in the news section. And that's actually pretty easy to do with code. You can just sort of link everything by country, and so if they're looking at a map of Egypt and something has happened in the news in Egypt recently and we posted it, it'll show when you hover over the map. The world leaders, I had a by region subheader on that. That was a brain fart. Please ignore that. Besides that, you could have information on their background, how popular they are currently, how they came to power, which would also have the side benefit of teaching the reader a little bit about the country's type of government and how their election process works, if there is an election process, and also what their relationship is with the United States. Something that I'm interested in that I don't often see on other websites is information on what we're doing diplomatically in the world. I thought we could have a section where we compile news articles and just little blurbs and little brief overviews of current diplomatic endeavors, and we can even have a section for notable or historic diplomatic missions. So for example, did you know that Benjamin Franklin established the first overseas mission of the United States in Paris in 1779? I sure didn't. Apps and games is pretty self-explanatory. Useful apps if we want to come up with any quizzes. I can't do that kind of programming, but probably someone around here can. And then the forums, I thought an Ask an Expert section might encourage people to write in. It would have to be a HAP Club member or a professor or someone who actually knew what they were talking about. But, let's say someone has a question about something that's going on, or someone is reading recent news headlines that are just giving current information. This happens to me sometimes where I read something and it's sort of starting in the middle of a situation or a crisis, and it doesn't really explain what went on before. That can make it tricky. I don't understand the entirety of what's going on, so maybe they can write in and they can ask, or if they have a project that they're doing, they can write in and they can ask. And it's almost like tutoring, only it's not one-on-one. It's like a one-time thing. And then also discussion groups. I thought a moderator could pick current topics. Students could start their own, of course, but the topics that moderators picked, if there are particularly good comments on it, maybe they could work with the members of the collegiate and have a section in the newspaper where students can voice their own opinions on current events, things that are happening internationally, especially since we have so many international students at the school. Obviously, we would need to talk with the collegiate about that, but it would be cool. I mean, it would be neat if they were open to the idea. lastly, you have links. I'm sure everyone has many great opinions on what should be put up in this section. These are just 3 that I like, and that's all I've got for this presentation.